Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Trap Drop Podcast. I, of course, am Ball Knower TC, Senior Ball Knower TC, joined here by Ball Knower Neil. He's been upgraded from Junior Ball Knower just to Ball Knower.
I appreciate that. I think I'm having a good season so far. I'm feeling very good about things. Some of my takes are panning out, some not so much, but we'll get into that.
First of all, thank you, Mr. Jeezy.
Of course.
We'll be talking to another not native Atlantan, but relocated Atlantan later on in this episode as we move forward. We'll have the Seamsters coming to everybody later this week, of course, on the heels of the Dodgers crazy Game 7 victory. We figured we would get you the Seamsters Union out in timely fashion. Poosh has given us his blessing to have some of these ball knowing conversations in his stead. We will see him this weekend, or Neil, I will see him this weekend out in Phoenix. You will probably be in
This
the
is it.
hospital.
This is the last time you're going to hear from me for a while. Some people probably just doing massive fist pumps in their car right now. But yes, awaiting the birth of my second child here this week. But I mean, listen, we're not going to bury the lead. Matt Ryan came on to chat with the boys, and that was like if you told 18-year-old Neil we'd be chopping it up with Matty Ice, that'd feel pretty good. So going out on a high note here into paternity leave, TC.
Yeah, pretty fun way to start our Monday. So before we get there, Neil, we got some things to clean up. Of course, ServPro is the #1 brand in cleanup and restoration, known for making any mess like it never even happened. With over 2,200 locations nationwide, they are faster at any size disaster. ServPro is here to help 24/7. Just call 1-800-ServPro or visit servpro.com today or whenever you need it. We got
just keep that. Yeah, keep that. Just write that down on a Post-it. You might need it soon. As a new homeowner, I feel like I'm gonna need it here pretty soon. Just never know, man.
There's allegedly there's an Arctic blitz coming on or whatever, Arctic vortex, early season Arctic vortex.
Had a big windstorm here a couple days ago, a couple trees down. But the Jersey Central Power and Light came out. They got that tree cleaned up pretty quick, TC.
Love that. Yeah. Well, what do we need to clean up real quick?
Oh God, I think I'm gonna just go ahead and apologize for one. I totally wrote the Panthers off, and here they are, like making me look really stupid. They just keep winning like ugly games. Maybe that's strength of schedule stuff, but I feel like I might. They seem to know how to win close games, so I feel like I owe Panthers fans a bit of an apology. And then I'm also going to have a pre-mea culpa based on our conversation because we're recording this after talking to Mr. Ice himself, Senor Ice. I've been very impatient with Penix and on the Falcons, and I think Senor Ice kind of flipped me a little bit. Like I got to be patient. Hearing his nod of confidence to Michael Penix made me. I need to give him a little bit of time to develop. So I'm gonna apologize for that, TC. I feel like I've been very frustrated with what I see on paper as a very talented Atlanta offense. I feel like being held back a little bit by a young, inexperienced quarterback.
Yeah, listen, I think that's all fair. I think if we get into it, we talk Zach Robinson a little bit, some option routes. Bottom line, Penix throws a really nice ball.
He flights it. He's a pitcher, not a thrower, according to Mr. Ice himself.
Yeah. Well, and that's big of you to apologize to my Panthers who, got the dub this week. Dave Canales doing a good job up there.
He is doing a good job. And I thought they were going to be a dumpster fire. And they're just not. They just are they're finding ways to win.
Jalen Coker's back. He should develop here over the next little bit. So Neil, all of that's big of you. I have a couple mea culpas. The first is unrelated to ball knowing. I would have waited until next week when Randy and I chop, but I'm just going to do it now because the 737 that got hit by what we thought was a piece of space debris. We talked about I think DJ and I talked about it last week on the chop session. It was actually a weather balloon with like sand in it for ballast. So you can see kind of the sand, the injuries to the pilot and the damage to the windshield were consistent with that of a sandy ballast in a weather balloon. So a lot of stuff up there, big sky, Neil.
I mean, pilots probably didn't know they got to worry about getting sandblasted at 35,000 feet. That's tough.
Yeah.
Throw that on the
Yeah.
list. That sucks,
Yeah.
TC.
So, had a few people reach out with that. Wind Talker made sure, and we are monitoring this week the air traffic control. This might be the week when it kind of starts hitting the fan a little
Kind
bit.
of needed to be force the issue a little bit. Like, let's get back to work, guys. Come, let's get something done up there or down there in Washington. Just
Yeah. Yeah.
unbelievable. Uh,
And then my other mea culpa is of the ball knowing variety. And Neil, it's to you directly, and it's
wow.
regarding your Patriots. They're
Thank
very
you.
good. They're
Thank
very
you.
good. Josh McDaniels seems like he's just really back in a happy place as far as play calling and scheme. Drake May's slinging it. The defense is better sooner than I thought they would be. I was long Patriots. I just wasn't near term
I mean, it's just
Patriots.
proof. Vrabel's a leader of men.
He's a
He's a
dude.
culture builder. He is
Yeah.
that guy. And yeah, what are they 6-2 now?
Six and
Uh,
two. Yeah.
it's just really impressive stuff. And I'm not even like a Patriots fan. Traditionally, I hate the Patriots, but I was like, I think Vrabel's got something, man. And he got the right guys around him. And I mean, yeah, Drake May is just straight up legit. So I appreciate that, TC. I hope to hear from some Bills fans that
Yeah.
brought some vitriol into my DMs. I'd love to hear from those people. A few mea culpas.
Kayshawn Boutte looking good as well. Yeah, so I probably mispronounced that. But yeah, and actually, so thank you to ServPro. Let's just go through our team rankings here as well. Of course, this is I think there's what your Cowboys
The Cardinals tonight.
play Randy's Cardinals this evening. We'll see what happens with the Cardinals. It feels like we're nearing shit or get off the pot time for pew pew shots explosives boy, Mr. Gannon out there. But I am in first place, despite the Packers just completely shitting the bed repeatedly this year. I've got 36.5. Randy and Poosh are tied at this moment with 33.
Oh,
And Randy's got the outstanding one there. Randy also had few of his teams playing one another this past weekend, so some limited upside there. And then Neil, you're not far behind, 31.5 team wins
okay.
thus far.
What are they at? 33, you said?
33 and 36.5.
All right. So yeah, we get a Cowboys win tonight. We're right there.
Right in this thing.
Giants
Steelers are
continue to own
trending.
me. Yeah, Steelers look good. Steelers and Patriots both look like they're doing a lot of heavy lifting for me right now.
Yeah.
But
Your Jets, kind of a mess. Your Gigantes, I can't see them.
I know Scattaboo getting hurt is really just tough for
That's
just
tough.
everything. Team morale, just everything. It's not good, man. It's
That's
not good in New
tough.
York right now.
I did see Jackson Darts dating some hot model.
Sure.
Which,
But like
feels right.
feels
Feels right.
yeah, feels like he's just he might be a shooting star home with the way he play. He might flame out pretty quick. We'll
No,
see.
I like him. I like him. He's tough. And your Steelers, they're kind of gelling, kind of coming together.
With how bad my like Raiders take was to start the year, thinking that Pete Carroll was going to do big things with the Raiders, I would say it got offset by not giving up too soon on my guy Aaron Rodgers, and I love what they're doing up in Pittsburgh. And the Patriots, they're doing some work for me too. So
Yeah. Yeah.
tough that the Patriots, Atlanta should have won that game yesterday. But Patriots are getting it done.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, it was your Falcons playing your Patriots as well.
I know that's a
So
tough matchup for my squad.
I had my Jaguars playing my Raiders. I can't believe I took the Raiders before the Jaguars, but Colts L yesterday kind of hurt me.
I think we all need to apologize about the Colts. None of us saw that coming. Last team picked off the
I'm a
board.
Vanilla Vic guy.
Yeah,
They were not the last team picked. They were last round.
Last round. Okay.
Yeah. I think Randy should continue to apologize for the Bengals as well.
He was in a bad way. I mean, tough way to watch that one end after they battle back and then their defense is really bad.
He sent us a text yesterday. He just said, hey, like, I'm not gonna watch the games anymore.
He's like, I'm not going to take part in any more BallKnowers. I'm just not going to. He's just done with football. Period.
That was tough. Any other anything else you want to get off your chest as far as
Uh,
NFL or even Columbia? The Columbia Lions, do they stink again? Is
yeah,
this
they're
John
struggling.
Poppy guy a fraud?
I don't think he's a fraud. I d- yeah. I mean, the loss to Dartmouth, like 42-3 or something, was. I mean,
It's
that's
tough.
not the direction. After a hard fought battle and loss to Penn on homecoming, it's not what you want to see. Yeah, we'll see if they, if they show a little backbone here coming up. 3 more games. But young at QB, like graduated, like we had like a predator at receiver last year that did cover up a lot of mistakes. So I think they're just young, and I'm willing. He's bought himself a ton of time. I mean, you win, you win a Tri-V League title in your first year at Columbia. You're gonna get
Ivy
you get some slack in the rope,
some
TC. So
runway. Okay.
certainly bad. But looking forward to Columbia basketball. My guy Kevin Hovde, rookie season up there at Columbia. Can never figure out why we couldn't put together a good basketball program in the middle of New York City. Maybe he can change that. But I'm excited to try to. I'm gonna get to a couple Columbia basketball games this year. So we're on basketball. TC is moral of the story.
All right. Well, I need you topping up the NIL fund up there too. I don't even know if
Uh,
they do
they're
NIL
they're
during
in
the
my
Ivy.
inbox. We just passed Giving Day. So I
Robert
gotta
K.
support the flag.
Kraft, Neil G. Schuster. Hit him
Uh,
up.
Yeah, the Neil. What would I put my name on? Neil G. Schuster. I don't know, like uh towel dispense,
Equipment room.
like soap
The
dispensers.
merch
Like,
czar. The
yeah,
equipment
yeah, maybe
room.
the equipment room. Yeah, that's not a bad idea. All right, TC. Before we get to our interview with Matt Ryan, let's one more shout out to Roback. Fall golf is here. Roback is ready. Vests, hybrid jackets, hoodies. TC, they got flannels. A
They
lot of
do. The shacket thing.
they're
Yeah.
kind of doubling down on winter wear this year. So Roback's
Yeah.
got it. If you're looking for it, I'd take a spin around the Roback.com if you're looking for some winter wear. The new Pace Q-Zip, the fabric's incredible. I can attest to this. Soft, stretchy, and insanely comfortable. It has a nice custom metal zipper, rib collars, cuffs, and hem. An elevated look, TC. Think sweater, but more comfortable. Something that I've definitely thrown in the rotation. You've also got the Fulton hybrid jacket. I think a lot of people sleep on this one. It's as simple as that. It has great, lightly insulated torso with smooth stretches, with smooth stretch sides and sleeves. Easy to swing in and comfortable for everyday wear. And then the Roback Delta pants, another good option. Kind of that athletic fit. Nice stretchy waistband to give you a little extra room, especially someone like me, the quad father. But you still maintain a good fit. We don't want anything too baggy. Awesome fabric on the Delta pants. So if you need a refresh for fall or winter, I'd say head to roback.com, RHOBACK.com. Use code TRAP, TRAP, for 20% off your first order through the end of the week. Nest members got a Roback custom code in your member profile. That's
Wow.
nolayingup.com/profile for a little extra off. But again, Roback.com, quarter zips, jackets, pants, whatever you need. Roback has you covered.
That new Delta shirt jacket. You need to get in that game, Neil. The thing was
Yeah.
made for
Oh,
you.
they got some new herringbone vests too that I really like.
Yeah.
All right, so front loading that one, but let's get to the interview. TC, this was truly a kind of a special one for us, and I think we might have to get Matt back for it if he's willing to. I had a fantastic time talking ball with him, and I think we were some worthy,
Some foils.
sparring,
Yeah.
sparring partners. I thought we had a great discussion. So without further ado, let's get to it. We got to welcome a true knower into the broadcast, Mr. Ice, Matt Ryan. Matt, how are you today?
I'm good, guys. Fresh off of a trip to Buffalo, which is always good for, rekindling the football spirit. It's fun up there, and yeah, excited to sit down and chop it up with you guys.
Yeah, I appreciate your time. What'd you learn up there in Buffalo? Chiefs lose what 28-21. Bills beat the Chiefs.
Yep,
What big surprises yesterday?
I feel like it's more of the same, right?
Yeah.
Buffalo takes care of business during the regular season. Chiefs take care of business during the postseason. Um, I think the biggest thing I was surprised at how well they got after Mahomes, though. Like that was the thing that surprised me the most. Um, They did a good job rushing him. Really good scheme, kind of containing the pocket the entire time, not letting him have kind of windows to rush out of, and then putting him on the ground. They were physical. They beat them up, and I was surprised. I didn't think I thought it would be a good game, but I didn't think Buffalo would like physically dominate them, and they really did on both sides of the ball, offensive and defensive line. They dominated that game.
Yeah, physical with Kelsey too. Thinking
Dude, he took a
specifically, I
shot
think
in
in
the
the
back
first
of the
half,
end zone. So we were coming out to do halftime update live from the field, and I was standing kind of right in that corner of the end zone, and I was with Nate Burleson, and we saw him take this shot right before the half, and both of us looked at each other, and we were like, "Dude, I am glad I am not playing." Like
yeah,
that, the sound, the audio from it was so loud. He looked like he was out of it right after that, but it was a shot he took in the back of that end zone.
How many
so
of those games do you guys do where you travel in, you do the halftime show, you do everything on site there?
So last year we did 3. So we did 2 in the regular season, and then we always do the AFC Championship game live from the venue. And CBS, which I love, they've made a commitment to doing it a little more often.
Mhm.
So we're going to do 4 regular seasons. We did the opening game in Green Bay, which again I heard Randy talking about going up there a couple of weeks ago for a game. There's no place like it. Like Green Bay is the best, and Buffalo this past weekend is a really cool spot too. Green Bay week 1, we did Kansas City earlier in the year, we did Buffalo, and then in 2 weeks we're going to Denver for Denver, Kansas City, which will be really fun. So we kind of pick our spots, but it's fun. I mean, there's nothing like being at a stadium
Yeah.
live, right? And feeling the energy and kind of feeling, especially places like Buffalo and Green Bay, where it's a little more college type atmosphere. There's like real tailgate. There's real energy outside the stadium. It's not like Jacksonville, where it's a little bit different. But
Trying to change that. We're trying to
yeah,
change that.
you're working on that.
Yeah.
So when you go to the great places that have great tailgates and really good fan bases, it makes for an awesome experience because we usually do it where it's the 425 game, and our show
Mhm.
is on from noon to 1. And if you go to certain places, there's not many people
yeah,
around at
Yeah.
12 o'clock. But when you go to a place like Green Bay or you go to Buffalo, they're out there, they're partying, they're having a good time early in the day. So it makes for a cool venue.
yeah. So
So just to level set real quick, Neil, because
yeah,
we got right into it, and
we
a
did.
yes, it's surreal to have. I mean, you were drafted by the Falcons, what, 2007,
Uh,
2008,
2008. Yep.
2008. Okay, yeah. So like I watched you for a long, long time, like Neil and I did, but and really even prior to that, our friend Dana, our dad's
Yes.
friend Dana Bible, one of your kind of offensive coaches and just, long time kind of QB guru. So watched you like up at Notre Dame, I think, and a few other places that you played kind of prior to that as well, when you were at BC. So just surreal here, but you're also a BallKnowers listener. And,
Yes.
I'm sure, listen,
I
like,
got to find a place to get my takes.
Of course,
exactly. Well,
of course.
we certainly provide the takes. What do you think we get the most wrong, or the most egregiously wrong, I guess?
You guys, there's not that much that is egregious, right? Obviously, you guys watch a lot of football. You're into it, right? So the passion is there. Maybe some of the Trevor Lawrence takes, maybe, we've been optimistic. I think it was a couple, I think I texted you about this, but it was a
Yeah,
couple of weeks ago. I think Bob was on, and I like Bob. Bob's got a great voice, by the way.
he
Just
Yes,
does.
like
he does. And
it,
Bob
it
knows how to eat innings too. That
He
guy's a total
grinds
pro.
tape.
yes,
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's got a great voice. Perfect for radio, right?
yeah,
It's a perfect amount of bourbon, maybe a cigarette or two. Like there's that raspiness. It's really good. But yeah, I think you were saying maybe Trevor Lawrence's upside or potential is Jared Goff.
Yeah, you
Is
didn't
that
like
what you
that
were
one?
hoping
Well,
for?
no,
Or
that was my optimism there of, hey, like, slow start. He hasn't, obviously Goff got kinda entered the league and had McVay and had a really good system in place, and then
Mhm.
kinda had that falling out there. My thought is, hey, maybe that's the upside there of, big guy, big arm, can kind of make all the throws, and it's just going to take him a little bit of time to really get himself
So
into
how
the
much?
offense and
I guess
everything.
my question would be, how
Yeah.
much time?
My question as
What
well.
is the adequate amount of time that
No, that's so
that you
all
get to
right.
develop? And in Trevor's defense,
Yeah.
the number of coaching changes, the number of like it's incredibly difficult. I just laughed when I heard it. I laughed because I think they're just such wildly different players,
Okay.
right? From a how they play the game standpoint, where Jared is he is a timing rhythm passer, right? Balls out before guys are out of the break, loves to attack the middle of the field off play action. I just don't see Trevor that way. I see him
And that's
more of
total wishful thinking on my part. So you gotta, from my perspective, I'm fighting for my life down here. My my mother-in-law and my wife are like the two biggest Trevor haters and have been for the last 2 or 3 years. I've tried to give him a lot of grace as far as Urban Meyer into Doug Peterson and Press Taylor into, it seemed I really like what Liam's got going on now.
I agree.
Offensive line's still not great, especially on the ends. Brenton Strange goes down, like that's kind of a security blanket. I think there's some things they got to do with the roster here, but I've started to lose faith finally that he just doesn't seem to have a feel for the game. It feels very mechanical or very just like once or twice a game there's a scramble that it's like, no, dude, throw it away,
Yeah.
or throwing it away, or it's like,
Where you go
dude,
like 3 yards
scramble.
over the line of scrimmage
Yeah,
and
or 3 yards over the line of scrimmage, and he's throwing a forward pass, or just a lot of, a lot of delay of game penalties. And I know it's a complicated offense, or that's what everybody tells me, it's a complicated offense, but, I guess posing that question to you, how, like, I think especially in the context of seeing Darnold,
Mhm.
really, really start to flourish, or Daniel Jones, or even Mac Jones out in San Francisco, how much grace should these guys have, and how stunted is development these days in the college ranks, just with NIL and transfers, and kind of the lack of pro style offenses that are being
Well,
run there.
I think you see a lot of guys, coming out of college that really have had similar experiences to Trevor Lawrence in the NFL, right? Where
Yeah.
it's different scheme, emphasizing different parts of the field to throw to, different timing, different rhythm, different players, and hearing a different voice, in your ear. And everybody has a little bit different flavor when it comes to coaching of what they wanna emphasize. So, I do think there's an element of that you're seeing in the NFL right now of guys coming in, and not being finished products by any stretch of the imagination. And it's taken time. I mean, this is the trend right now. Like Sam Darnold was unbelievable last night against the
Unbelievable.
Commanders,
Yeah.
and really he was unreal most of last year, in Minnesota, save maybe the last 2 or 3 games of the year and the playoffs. But I mean, he was so good, all year. And I do think, part of that is getting into, systems where they take some of the weight off the quarterback, right? And I think Kevin O'Connell does as good of a job as anybody up in Minnesota. And I think partly his time too. I know you're a big Kyle Shanahan guy, right? And so partly that time spent with Kyle, right, for Sam Darnold as a backup to see the game maybe through a different lens, right? And understand, how they're playing offense in San Francisco, and then have those practice reps, have the opportunity to sit in meetings to see how they're scheming things up, to see how the run game marries up with the play action pass, and the trust, that you have to have of letting things go on time, right? I think those things help, and I think that's been a big thing for Sam. I even think like Daniel Jones, short stint last
Yeah.
year in Minnesota, right? Sometimes even a short amount of time being around guys that see the game differently, and do a great job of verbalizing and showing, players, how things are going to work. I really think, that helps players like this. But I do think it's fascinating to see it because I was looking at the agenda that Neil sent over, right, and this was one of the topics, and I think Neil, you had put in there like I can't remember this happening before.
Yeah, like when you were playing, I don't remember like a Baker Mayfield, Darnold, Daniel Jones like these guys getting a second chance after like we're talking 5-6 years of kind of mediocre
Right.
football.
I
And it's
think
like, what
Gino feels
like
like maybe the first one that it really happened with.
the guy
Yeah.
I think of, and it's a different comp because, he wasn't like a first round pick, but the guy I think of is Rich Gannon,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
So Rich Gannon bounced around, for a long time, Kansas City, Minnesota, and then ends up, with at the time like the offensive guru, right?
Yeah.
In John Gruden out in Oakland, and it all clicked. And he played some unreal football, albeit for a short amount of time. Maybe it was 4 or 5 years. He had that run in Oakland, but he's like one of the first guys that I think of when I think of a journeyman or had gone through some, hard times and then comes out and plays MVP type football.
Yeah.
So he's really one of the first ones that I think of, but I agree with you. I think, in that delta between what was Gannon, maybe early
Yeah.
2000s,
Yeah.
sometime around then to now we're in 20 years later. There really is, you haven't seen it, right?
Like you could think of like Kurt Warner as a late bloomer. I mean, he didn't really have but you're almost talking about guys like Baker win the Heisman, come out with, first round picks. Daniel Jones, same thing. And it just doesn't seem like a lot of quarterbacks that don't experience success early get that confidence back. And my question, I guess, to take it a level deeper is like, so you have these examples we're talking about right now, but where do you see somebody like Trevor Lawrence or somebody else? Do you think there's another candidate for this where you're like, man, I think that guy's got it, but it's the wrong setting or it's the wrong coach, or, who would be a candidate for another late bloomer like this?
It's such a good question. And I think, you think about like an Anthony Richardson or
Yeah.
somebody with mega talent and all of this athleticism and incredible upside. Maybe there's a system fit for a guy like him where it's just a change of venue, um, you know, uh, an opportunity to grow up a little bit, along the way to mature. But I think it goes back to what Tron you were talking about at the beginning of like this NIL world, right? I think stunts some of that growth coming in. And so, there's really like that time where you're thrust into playing. And I think the other thing is guys are playing earlier now, which I'm not opposed to. Like I'm a fan of putting guys out there, being aggressive and playing guys early, but then also giving them ample amount of time, right? Being committed to letting them grow and develop. So I don't know. Like I wouldn't have said Daniel Jones was going to go out and tear it up like he was this like
Yeah.
I know.
like nobody in
did.
Minnesota was sitting there saying like, "Hey, we got to keep him. Like this is what we think the future is going to be like." Maybe you could have made that argument with Sam Darnold, but nobody was saying that, myself
Yeah.
included.
And
Like I
Wentz
haven't
would
heard
maybe
one
be the
one.
guy.
What's
Like
that?
Wentz would be the other side
Yeah,
of that.
like
where
people thought like Wentz, all right, maybe they're going to run the same playbook here after McCarthy gets hurt. But I mean, we're kind of seeing it with Mac Jones a little bit. Like, do you think Mac Jones gets because, like Baker had that kind of QB finishing school with McVay there, even if it was even a month or two, he
Mhm.
came in and won that Sunday or Monday night game. That
Which, by the way, is
awesome
still one of the
comeback.
most unbelievable things that ever
Yeah,
happened.
truly.
Yeah. It wasn't like he was Joe Flacco doing it in
Yeah.
year like 20, where he's played in every system and comes in. And still, Joe was what he did in that Thursday night game was unbelievable. But like Baker's performance in that Thursday night game was wild.
Talking about Flacco for a second, does he just love ball to the point of like he just does not want to hey, I'm gonna do this until they have to wheel me off. Like I would like to keep playing as long as possible, and he gets the rush out of just rescuing a season there.
Yeah, I mean, so I've known Joe since we got drafted together in 2008. So I've known him for a long time. And yeah, number one, he does love ball, right? Like just loves all of it. Loves, being a part of the team, loves going out there, loves competing. The thing I give him the most credit for, and I think it's one of the most difficult things to do though, is to accept a different role, right? And to have to just have the mindset of shifting roles after being the guy for so long, right? And then kind of getting thrust into a different stage. And I think it happened earlier for him, to where it wasn't time to hang it up when he was leaving Baltimore. And it reminds me a lot of a guy that I play with, Matt Schaub. Shabby did the same kind of thing. Like he went to Houston, was the guy in Houston for a long time, and was, maybe 10 years into his career, and then gets, thrust into different situations where he was in Oakland for a bit and then Baltimore and then ends up with us. So I think Joe's like their timelines are very similar where they're thrust into a different role, maybe at a time where they're not ready to give it up. And then you keep going. Like Shabby was with us in Atlanta for 5 years. He came to Atlanta at the end and was my backup for 5 years. And like, it was amazing, number one, to have him. He was an awesome teammate, but I think he loved football, loved being a part of it, loved the process, loved getting ready to go. He didn't have as many opportunities as Joe to go play. But I think Joe got into that role at a time in his career where he still wanted to play and then became, comfortable in that spot. But I also think it goes to his skill set, right? Like Joe had a huge, huge arm coming out, right? And he could absolutely spin it, throw it deep, effortless power. And I think that's something that ages well. I think you see guys like Aaron Rodgers, still playing well
Neil's a
into his
huge,
40s.
huge. Like
I
you will
can't
not meet a
quit
bigger Aaron
Rodgers.
Rodgers.
It's like Rodgers, just in his prime, is my favorite football player ever. Just the way the kind of swag in which he played, how the super processing, the checks at the line, and I was pretty bullish this year on getting out of the Jets dysfunction and into something. And I give Arthur Smith some credit. It feels like they've blended like power football with just these like jumbo like O-line sets and quick passing. Like,
Did
again,
you
I
guys
think
watch the game yesterday?
I watched some of that game, yes, and he
It's a good
looked.
win.
Rodgers just looks comfortable again. It's impressive.
100%. He definitely looks comfortable. I agree with you, Neil. Like, I do think it's a really interesting blend of Arthur Smith, who I played for 1 year in Atlanta, and Aaron, because on paper, I think they're oil and water, right? Like they don't
Definitely,
mix.
it's like two different like theories on the game.
Wildly different, like philosophies on how to play football. And Art loves to get big in terms of personnel, and like getting prepped. We've done it. We do a lot of Pittsburgh because they're in the AFC, and I know CBS. We now have more NFC than we've ever had, but still, primarily, the bulk of our work is on the AFC side. And so, doing some of that work kind of at the beginning of the year, I went back and was looking at like, dude, how much has Rodgers really spent time in 12 and 13 personnel, which is, for the listeners, like 2 tight ends, 1 running back, 2 wide receivers is 12, 3 tight ends, 1 running back, 1 wide receiver, 13 personnel. And it's very little, right? Like it's very little. They were so much 11, 3 wideouts, 1 running back, 1 tight end in Green Bay forever. And so I'm sitting there, I'm like, this is going to be interesting. Like, I don't know how this is going to work because it's very different. But when you watch that game yesterday, like Mount Washington, he was like their primary target
I know
throughout that game.
Well, but it kind of fits.
But it was cool because they were
Rodgers.
spreading these big guys out and using them in a Rodgers type passing game.
Yeah, and the way his still, I think, superpower at this age is how quick he gets the ball out,
Oh
and
my God.
those formations actually benefit that because everyone's thinking run, so you can catch him napping on the quick screen out to the left or like a quick slant. And there was a highlight where he threw it like right between a linebacker's hands on like a like a short post route. It's just like that to me. I'm like, I just can't get enough of that. And Aaron Rodgers has always been like, just with how quick he spins it out, it's like I just love watching it. So I've had a blast watching those two in Pittsburgh, like kind of mesh in a weird way.
I agree with you. I think the best looks to throw against are when you're in big personnel, when you've got 3 tight ends on the field, because it does a lot of things, right? Sometimes the defense puts bigger guys out there that are less athletic in space, but the other thing is, defenses really only have maybe 2 or 3 calls, 2 or 3 defenses that they run against those personnel groupings.
Yeah.
So exactly what you're getting. And when you give a guy like Aaron the answers to the test before he gets the ball, like he's going to get it right. He's going to get it right more often than not. But I agree with you. I mean, his ability to get the ball out of his hand, his ability to locate throws, is so good. I think he's starting to get on the same page with DK too.
Yeah.
Like at the beginning of the year, there were a lot of misses, like short slants and stuff like that. Aaron was missing behind him. And I was saying to Coach Cower, who sits on our desk, like DK's got to be a difficult guy to throw to. As crazy as this sounds, Julio was like the same way. in that they eat up so much more ground than everybody else that you play with. So, like in your brain, you have this idea of, all right, a 3-step slant hits right here. Well,
Yeah.
that hits there with like everybody else, but it's going to hit 2.5 yards further with Julio. Or if you're throwing a crossing route across the field to Julio, like in your brain, you just always had this idea like this is right where I throw it to hit crossing routes. And then you do that to Julio and it's like 6 yards behind him. And you're like, oh my God, like that was
Yeah.
terrible. So like there's a rewiring of your brain that you have to have when you play with guys like that are physically different than everybody else. And it hasn't taken Aaron long to kind of get on the same page with him. But I do think that's been interesting to watch. But I'm with you. He's awesome. I watched him play. We lost to them in the playoffs in 2010 when they won the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And he played like the best game I've ever seen a quarterback play in that game. We had home field advantage. I think we were the 1 seed in the NFC, and they curb stomped us, man. They came
I
in
was
and
there.
got after it. You were there?
Yeah.
Dude, I think it might have been the best quarterback performance I've ever seen. It was so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, what like for me, Rodgers at his best is just like complete mastery of like he just kind of has everybody on a string a little bit. And what I give him credit for is, he seems like there's a lot of ego with Rodgers, right? And it's like, is he going to be able to take a back seat or work with Arthur Smith and like do some things differently? Which I think I would credit Flacco's success with, like what you were saying, like, hey, different phase of my career, I got to get the ball out quick. They need me to throw. I have a particular set of skills. I can throw the ball deep still, but
Mhm.
otherwise it's like, I just need to be a caretaker here. I don't need to there's a skill in not doing too much. And I think that
100%.
Flacco has, kind of, you would almost associate that with him. Rodgers is always a concern of like, is he going to try to do too much? And I think this season he hasn't.
See, like I'd push back on that though with Aaron. Like he and I don't want this to sound like the wrong way. He's a very conservative player.
Okay.
When you watch him, right? Like he's an excellent decision maker,
Yeah.
and they make big plays. But like he's a
Like, he
lot
plays
of
with
I'm throwing the
clarity.
flat route, I'm throwing the slant
Yeah.
route, I'm throwing the flat route, I'm throwing the slant route until I get the premier look to take a shot. And
Yeah.
so I think his decision making was always somewhat conservative, very different from his predecessor and Brett Favre and really very different from Jordan Love, who's
Yeah.
followed him in Green Bay. So I think he was like it was like the proper amount of being risk adverse. We would talk about in our quarterback room all the time, like good
Yeah.
quarterback play is making the boring sexy, right? It's doing like the little things right over and over and over and over again. And then that adds up at the end of the game to this really, really good performance. And so I think Aaron has done such a good job of that throughout his entire career. He makes the highlight plays. There's no doubt about that. But on balance, the bulk of his work is excellent decision making over and over and over.
Yeah. Maybe it was more with the Jets. I just felt like, and
You
some
can
of the
throw
team
those
playing.
2 years out, man.
Yeah. You're playing from behind. He's coming off an Achilles. It just feels like he was trying to do too much there, and you're right. That's probably not a
The
fair.
Jets are a whole that's its own ball of
Listen, I'm up here in
wax.
New
So,
Jersey. I'm trying to think like, is my son
golly.
going to be a Jets fan? My brother-in-law is
Neil,
just a massive Jets fan. But Matt, they're kind of fun to root for because they're such a dumpster fire.
dude,
It's like, can
it's
you
it's
buy low here and get in on the ground floor? Because
I mean,
it's fun. Sometimes it's kind of
Penny
fun to watch.
stock.
It's so bad.
it's so working for CBS, our studios are in New York, and we have a lot of people behind the scenes that are huge Giants and Jets fans. And not growing up in that and really like playing in the league for so long, like you're not worried about any other organization, right? You're not thinking
Sure.
about the Jets and the troubles that they've had, the history of dysfunction that they've had. But now having worked for CBS for a couple of years and being in New York every week, and we have a stats guy, Wayne Fiddleman, who's he's the man, like the smartest dude. He knows the most sports. He's the ultimate ball knower, right? Like he knows more ball about any kind of ball you want to know about than anybody I know. And he's a massive, massive Jets fan. And every week it's just doom and gloom, man. Anything.
It's tough. It's really
It's
tough.
brutal. Like
Yeah.
last year, I was in there at the beginning of the year. I'm like, dude, I think the Jets could be all right. Like the
I
defense is
was saying the
good.
same thing. I
Aaron
gotta,
Rodgers is good. He's like, this is week one. He's like, nope, nope,
yeah.
it's going to be a train wreck. And
Vibes
he's
are
a
bad.
massive, massive Jets fan.
What
Uh,
going back to Flacco, Like, what does that look like when he parachutes in from Cleveland into Cincinnati? Like, how much of the playbook can he learn, or is there just a separate kind of, uh, diet version of the playbook and the terminology? Like, what does that process look like, getting him up to speed in 2, 3, 4 days?
Yeah. So, I mean, like the concepts are all similar, right? Like
Mhm.
every scheme has similar type stuff. And I think one of the good things for Joe in that type of situation is that he's played in so many different systems, right? And so
Yeah.
there's recall from somewhere at some time that he's done something similar. I also think that he came in and they had to play, quick turnaround on Thursday night. Like those game plans are always, like you said, like a
Light.
diet game
Yeah.
plan, right? They're light. And so the volume of plays that you have in those kind of games is much less than the normal week. So I think that was probably a good thing for him. Um, I think the hardest part is actually calling the play. It's like you know what to do,
Yeah.
but you
But
can't
it's like
get
a
it out.
foreign language,
Yeah,
right?
exactly,
Yeah.
like, you can't get it out. I think it's like I always think of it like I was, like, a sophomore in high school in Spanish class. Like, I know what
Yeah.
I wanted to say, I just don't know how to get it out,
Yeah.
and, like,
I
I
can
could
read
write it
it, I can
down.
write it. Yeah,
Instead
I
of
yeah.
can write it,
cereals,
but I
it's now
can't
car
speak it.
types. It's like the
Yeah.
same concepts, but it's like, oh, now I gotta. Instead of cinnamon
Everybody
toast
like
crunch,
like,
it's
everybody's running slant flat. Everybody's
yeah,
running, curl flat. Everybody's running 4 seams. Everybody does this, but how you get it out, how you call it is much different. And the nuance is different, right? Like, everybody has little variations to their scheme of we might do it off of steps or, like if we're throwing a skinny post route, in some schemes I played in as the difference can be, which foot is up for the receiver, right? So if the inside foot up, it's going to be a 7-step route. If the outside foot up, it's going to be a 6-step route. And that just affects your timing just, half a click, right? Half
yeah,
half a count. And so the like nuance part of it, I think is probably the most difficult part to get. That and in addition to actually being able to call the play. But I think one of the strengths for Joe is that he has such a powerful arm, so you can make up for being a little bit late when you have an
yeah,
absolute laser, and you can
yeah,
just
And you got some
fire it in
dudes on
there,
the outside.
and you got dudes, right? And so you got guys who can separate, and then you also have guys that it also doesn't matter. You can just throw it up, and they'll make plays on the ball. And Jamar and T Higgins like that. That
yeah,
makes a big difference. So I think there's a lot of factors, that have helped with him, having some success there early on. But it's also a massive credit to Joe, right? Like you got to want to do it at 40 years old and like embrace that challenge. And I think he's leaned into it.
yeah.
What do you think
So
the Bengals do? Like, just speaking, just sticking on the Bengals for a sec. Like that defense, like they don't that. I don't even feel like they're
Bad.
they're 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 accidentally in the right places ever. Like just from like a
yeah,
from the perspective of like at some point, there's gonna be a good mistake happen, or they're just gonna be in a base set and somebody's gonna make a play, and that never even
well,
seems
it's
to
just like
happen. Like
bad
No,
tackling too. Like the end
yesterday
of the
was
game, it's just like
horrendous.
just fundamentally unsound football.
dude, it's bad all over. So I watch games on Sunday next to Coach Gower.
Okay.
And I love these high scoring games. I'm like, oh, this is great, man. Just
Yeah,
going right down the field, slinging it all over the place. And he's like foaming at the mouth watching this, and like the chin is out. And he's like, oh, this is horrible defense, like so bad,
He's like
so
personally
bad.
offended
yeah,
by it.
He's absolutely offended by it, right? Like, and so watching that with him has given me a little bit different perspective on football in general. But just and his frustration with it is exactly what you said, Tron. It's like he's like they fall into plays occasionally, but like there's never something schemed up. They're never just out there. And Neil, to your point, just like clean tackling. It's bad. It's bad. It's
yeah.
hard to watch.
What do you think
I
they
know.
do? Do they move off of like at some point Zach Taylor, like the product is the product and you
Yeah.
gotta and I know the personnel's really flawed and they've got a
I
weird
I
weird
mean, to
setup
me,
up
it starts
there,
at the
but
top,
yeah,
and it's kinda it's sort of like we were talking about with the Jets. Um, there's
just a
really
weird
gotta be a
culture.
commitment. There's gotta be a commitment from the top to winning, and winning and doing all of the things that you need to do in order to win. And whether that's paying people, whether that's paying people on time, whether that's getting in front of contracts like Trey Hendrickson, to be able to structure things. It's like these things are coming down the line,
Yeah,
right?
don't
And
let him
getting
become
the
a story.
exactly, and
Yeah.
and getting the timing right. Like, I'm a massive believer, if you've got good players in your building, you need to re-sign them as early as possible, right? As quick as you can, because when you let good players walk out of the building, it's really difficult, and they don't do it. Like, they wait until the last minute with every person that they have, and it becomes storylines. It creates, a cancer inside of the building, and then even from like a scouting department and organizational setup, like they're not close in comparison to the number of employees that they have, the number of people that they have on staff. It's almost like baseball, where you have your mega market teams and then you have your mid-market teams, and the gap between them has gotten so wide in baseball that I don't think it's good. And there's not a ton of that in the NFL, because of the cap and how the league is set up. But it sort of feels like Cincinnati's like that. Like, they're a mid-level baseball team that's not willing to spend the way that the Dodgers or the Yankees or even whatever the Blue Jays are.
Yeah.
As someone who played you played 16 games like every season. Health is a skill. And is there something there with Burrow? Is that an offensive line thing? Is that bad luck?
Um, yeah, I think so. I had turf toe twice,
Yeah.
which he
Sucks.
had, or he has, or he's dealing with right now. I never had surgery. I did it my second year against Tampa, and I missed 2 games that season, and then I went on a stretch. I think like 11 or 12 years where I didn't miss a game.
Crazy.
But I think some of it
Did you
is
get
luck.
close to missing a game,
Yeah,
in those 11
yeah.
or 12 years? Like, were you always playing banged up, or were you pretty clean for the most part?
Oh, no, always
Always.
banged up, always banged up. But my game, the way I played, right? Like, I wasn't moving a ton, right? And
Yeah.
so whether I had something with a knee or a hip or a foot, right? Like, I could play from the pocket, and I could get the ball out of my hand quickly. And I think that, part of that, my style of play led to that. I think I got lucky, certain times, like, you have to get lucky. And I think in a lot of cases, you're unlucky when you do get hurt. I don't know. I don't know how to quantify it, because I know Joe's taking care of himself, right? Like, he's doing
Yeah.
everything he can to give himself a chance to be healthy, and he's 100% committed. And sometimes it's just bad luck. And I saw that with teammates too, right? Like, guys that I would play with, that did everything right all the time and took care of themselves, and it just didn't work out.
Yeah. All right. I want to talk a little Falcons. What
Okay.
give me some thoughts on Penix.
Neil's not sold on Penix.
I'm not sold
I'm
on
a big
Penix. I
Penix.
think there's a lot to work with, but
Okay.
it's
Tell me
an
what you're not
unfinished.
sold on.
I feel like he breaks down in his progressions. And I think that Bijan and Drake London are making him look good. When he is on his first read, I feel like things look really good, but his timing seems to get off when he's got to move to second and third reads. That's my uneducated opinion. What are your thoughts on Penix so far?
I'd agree with that. But I'd also say, how many starts does he have? 9?
Yeah, so I need to be patient, and
Yes.
very open to that.
Yes. I
Um,
think you need to be patient. I think, number one, I love the way he throws a football, right?
Me
Like,
too.
this ball comes out of his hand. He can absolutely spin it, right? And he's got power. I think for him to take the next step, like, he Dana, our friend, Dana Bible, who you could do a whole BallKnowers, podcast on him too. Dana's one of the
PhD
all-time.
level knower.
Oh, dude, he is, and he's a character, like
Yeah.
an absolute character. But he used to say to me all the time when I was young at Boston College, he was like, "I need a passer, not a thrower." Right? And
Yeah,
so, meaning, like, I don't care how hard you can throw it. Like, I need you to know the right type of pitch to
How to
deliver.
layer it in and
Yes, and to be able to locate. And so, like, I think that's the area Mike can take his next step, is ability to, like you said, Tron, layer the football, right? Like throw some of those in cuts or seam routes or outbreakers with a little more touch, a little more timing, and layer. I think he can take a step there. I think in terms of progression, because I'd agree with you, and I think that's the hardest thing for any young quarterback, Neil, is to get all the way through, right? From to go from 1 to 2 to 3 to 4. That takes time and it takes reps. But I mean, this is Zach Robinson's a friend of mine, but like one of the things I never liked for young quarterbacks is lots of option routes as number one in the progression, because it inherently makes you late
Yeah.
to be able to progress, right? Because you don't know if they're going to break in, they're going to break out, and they do a lot of that. They do a lot of choice routes with Pitts. They do a lot of choice routes with Bijan, with different guys, even with Drake. They'll move him into the slot and kind of run these little option routes. And for a young player, I think it's really hard because you get stuck
You get
wondering,
locked
are they
on
going
that guy.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Like, is he going to break in? Is he going to break out? Is he going to hook up? What's he going to do? And it makes you hold it a little bit longer. And then you're not really sure if you're right or you're wrong. And I think I always liked as a young player, and I think it's helpful for young players to take that away from them early on. And to say, rather than running, like in their system, they'll call like choice stucco. So rather than running choice stucco, where number one has the ability to hook up, break out, break in, and is in that 4 to 6 yard window, make it a forced breakout, right? And so therefore, when it's not there.
Yeah.
And I think that's more important than knowing, like, you're going to know when it's there as a quarterback. You're going to know when it's open. Knowing the looks where it's not open is where you have to start, right?
Yeah. Like close the door. And that's
Correct.
kind of what and I think some of this is wrapped up in just the mechanics of, paying Cousins and then drafting Penix. I think, and that's unfair to Penix, is that, like, I'm like, okay, so we got all this money locked up with Cousins and nobody wants that contract, because you'd think, like, oh my God, how did they not move Kirk Cousins? Why didn't the Bengals want him? It's like, because nobody wants to pay him that
Yeah, you
money.
can't
So
take
I'm
that
like, it just feels like that's clouding my opinion of him a little bit too. Did I miss something with that Falcons quarterback stuff a couple years ago, or was that just like unexplainable to you as well?
He's probably got to tread carefully.
Yeah, you don't have to answer that, but that
Yeah.
frustrates me.
Am I too I think
It's-
I'm too close.
It's just an oddly constructed roster, generally speaking, too. And it seems like the timelines are strange, and I can't figure out Pitts.
Yeah.
Like
I liked Pitt. Like, I played one season with Kyle
Totally.
Pitts, right? And so, like, he can play, and
Yeah.
he's a guy that I think, you gotta keep him on the move, right? Like, I would not have him doing the little breakdown, short, choppy routes, right? Like, I think he's a shallow cross. He's a crossing route runner. He's a put him on the outside, get favorable matchups, throw jump balls to him. Like, he's really good at those things, and he's super super athletic. I still think he can play, and I think he's having a pretty good season. In his
Yeah.
defense, like,
Yeah,
I
he
think
is.
he's much improved this year than he was the previous 2 seasons, and I think partly he's healthy. I know he had battled injuries year 2 and year 3 for him, and so I think he's healthy. I think they're using him how he should be used, which I think is a positive. But I'm a Pitts. Like, I believe in Pitts. I know you can do it,
Yeah.
right? Like, I know
Well,
I know he can perform. I've
and
seen
it's
it.
just, I love on paper, like, and I guess I think it was Monday night a few weeks back. Like, the run
Dude, they
game
look
looks
great against
fantastic.
Buffalo.
Bijan is like a mesmerizing football player. Like,
100%.
I can't take my eyes off the guy. And so that's where I'm like, okay, what is missing then? Like, and to me, it's like Penix missing some easy stuff, like to support that in the pass game, especially when you have these big targets on the outside that are both really skilled. I think on paper, the Falcons should just be better. And so I'm a little
Yes.
frustrated.
Of course, but I think you've gotta, in my opinion, you have to live through those growing pains so
Yeah.
you don't keep doing things like you're frustrated about with Kirk Cousins and Michael Penix drafting and signing one in the same year. You've got to live through a little bit of the frustration as you watch growth and development from a young quarterback, right? He
Yeah.
is not he is not, Matthew Stafford. He's not there, right? He doesn't have the ability to progress, like you said, to understand instinctively where this ball needs to be located because I've thrown 4 million of these balls like in my life. Michael's not there yet, but I believe he can get there. I really do.
All right, that's all I need to hear. I appreciate this therapy session.
Yeah.
That's
No,
good stuff.
I really do. Like, I think he can. I hate the term too, like he can make all the throws. He can push it to every part of the field, but he can, right? He can throw the deep ball. He can throw the deep out routes. He throws the ball well over the middle. I just like, let's hit our layups, let's get good at hitting our layups before we start, hitting 25-yard blaze outs, bench routes.
All right, quick break here to talk about Whoop. Today's episode is brought to you by Whoop, the official wearable of the PGA Tour, LPGA Tour, Ryder Cup, and No Laying Up. The all-new Whoop is here, the only wearable that turns your health and fitness data into personalized guidance. Now 7% smaller with 14-plus days of battery life. The battery is a game changer. One of our favorite features of Whoop has been Health Span, where it gives you a Whoop age, kind of the pace you're aging at, based on
You're not aging at all.
Right now, as of this morning, my health span was 31.5, and it was down as low as 29 when we were in the strain challenge. So
I
you get that
cannot wait.
HRV going and the recovery is going.
Wait to see how that evolves over the next 2 to 3 months.
I think sleep impacts that a great deal. But yeah, more to come there as we round into goals season. I'd say another strain hack I found, TC, working in the yard. Whoop loves yard work. I was out cutting. Trying to clear out like the brush along my fence, which is like thicket. And it thought I was playing hockey, but like I got the strain like way up there because I'm chopping. I got clippers. I'm doing all kinds of stuff out there. So it's nice to see that I'm getting the heart rate up, even when I'm not getting a run in. If working in the yard, that counts, man. All strain matters. So Whoop, worn by some of the top guys on tour, we can attest that Whoop is not just for the professionals. If you're looking to improve your health, no matter where you are in your health journey, Whoop can help you unlock incredible value and personalized learnings. Also, a reminder that you can join the official No Laying Up team on No Laying Up Whoop group in the Whoop app by inputting the code COM, COMM-NLU. That's COM-NLU in the community tab of the app. If you're interested in giving the all-new Whoop a try, go to join.whoop.com/NLU for a free 30-day trial. Let's get back to it with Mr. Ice.
Matt, how much tougher do you think it is now versus, say, like 2008 when you came out with, like, going back to that concept of knowing when it's not there, like knowing definitively when it's not there? Is that a lot harder now with all the Brian Flores kind of disguises and just, it seems like there's a lot more depth to some of these defenses and a lot more going on pre-snap.
For sure. I think it's more prevalent all over, right? And so like you talk about the different looks you're going to get. Brian Flores was a teammate of mine at BC. So he was a 5th-year senior when I was a freshman at BC. So it's been pretty cool and listen, he's gone through it and had his own, issues all over the place, but he's done a great job as defensive coordinator of the Vikings, and I'm happy for him. I think it is more complicated across the board, right? There's more schemes that are like that. But I remember as a rookie, Jim Johnson was like that in Philadelphia. He was an old defensive coordinator for them, and he was like the first guy that would just send unsound blitzes at you, right? Like they wouldn't cover certain parts of the field. And so like in your brain, you're like, there's no way they can bring that guy. There's nowhere to cover.
They wouldn't do that.
There's no chance, right? Like surely no one would design something like this. It's not sound. And I remember playing up in Philly as a rookie and like seeing some of it and getting prepped for them during the week and being like, oh my God. Like I don't know where they're coming from. I don't know what we're doing in terms of how we're going to protect this. And so I think you see a lot more of that now. I think it's more widespread across the league than it was when I came in 2008. So I do think that part is probably more difficult for young quarterbacks. I think the expectation of young players is different, from when I was a rookie in 2008. I won Rookie of the Year in 2008. I think I threw 16 touchdown passes. Like I think I had 16 touchdown passes and 11 interceptions, and that was good enough to win Rookie of the Year. Like the expectations for guys to come in now and be a finished product, it's just so different, and I think it is I think there is a level of it being more difficult for young players than it was when I came in.
So, all right, I want to run through some quick fire stuff here.
Okay.
Give us your top. Say top 3 to 5 QBs right now.
Number one, I hate lists. I don't know how you guys like.
So top tier bucket.
Yeah.
I think like there's guys that are good enough to beat you every Sunday.
Okay.
I think if you're talking about right now, currently,
like right now, and I mean
playing,
like right now, who's playing the best? You know what I'm saying?
I mean, who's playing better than Matthew Stafford?
Yeah. I mean,
Like,
Darnold. You'd say
think
Darnold, like based on last.
I was going to say who's playing better than some of those guys in the NFC West right now. Like Mac Jones is playing good football. At one point, he was perfect in that game yesterday. He was like 12 for 12 in the first half. He might have had a fumble, but like he was playing really good. But I'm not going to throw Mac in there. I would just say I think Matthew Stafford's.
We can throw Kyle in there just because Kyle is operating through Mac.
Yeah, Kyle. I mean, Kyle's a hell of a coach.
We'll get there next.
Baker's playing good football right now. And I think you think about all of the guys that have been out on the offensive side of the ball, right?
Down or 2 men down like every week for them.
100%. And him just throwing the rest of the team on the back, right? And making plays. Baker's, playing really, really, really good football. But like, if you were to say, even I was up in Buffalo watching that game yesterday, like those two quarterbacks have to be in there. I don't care what you say, any list you would put on, I'm still looking at both those guys and saying in a playoff game, I'll take my chances of Patrick Mahomes, even under 50% completion, over guys who have had great years thus far. I'd always put those two in the conversation. Lamar comes back. Lamar played great the other night when he came back. And I just feel like the Ravens will have a chance at the end of the year. So I don't know. I'd put those guys in that top tier.
All right. Out of these three, who do you like?
Hold on. I think Tron wanted to follow up there.
Oh, go ahead.
Neil, I was going to do something similar. Out of Dak, Herbert, or Fields?
Yes.
Who are you taking? Or Fields?
Fields?
Or sorry. Dak, Herbert, or Hurts? Sorry.
Yeah. Wow.
I mean, that's a good question.
Independent of the situation too. Like if you were starting a,
I'd take either of the three. I'd be all right. But I would take Dak or Herbert.
Okay.
Over Hurts.
I think so. Yes.
So you're falling out on the ball knower kind of.
I like Jalen Hurts. I really do. But like,
no,
and I think he does exactly. I think he does exactly what they ask him to do.
Bingo.
And there's nothing wrong with that. But if you ask me if I was building the offense around one of these guys, right, and I was the Kyle Shanahan calling plays here, from my perspective, I think I would take Dak or Herbert. Maybe just Herbert because he's a little bit younger, but Dak's playing great ball right now too.
Yeah. Honestly, I feel like there's a lot of quarterbacks playing above average.
Quarterbacks playing in the NFL right now is really good.
Right? It's really good. Compared to even last season. It feels like it's like, God, you look around, you're like,
Drake May's playing great. Like Drake May could be in the top 5 of anybody's list right now. He's playing awesome.
Yeah, definitely. All right. So outside of quarterbacks, like who's your guy? Like who's a guy when he's on like an off ball guy? For me, like Kyle Juszczyk, I find myself like watching him. Do you know what I'm saying? Or like Brock Bowers, some of these tight ends. Like, is there a guy that you would recommend to listeners? Like
Brock Bowers is a good one, right?
Like a lineman or one of these, like a kind of a blocking player where you're like, you should try to follow him. Like, don't follow the ball, follow him.
I like Matlock in LA. He's fun to watch. Ricard in Baltimore, always fun. Like, I like those big guys that come in and just right.
I know
they're always fun to watch. Like elite level blockers. I mean, if we're gonna go offensive lineman on a bad team that's really good, Andrew Thomas in New York at tackle. He was playing unbelievable, man, for them. And they're not very good with the Giants, but like he kind of
got off to a slow start in his career too.
Absolutely. And he is playing good. Like he was locked down. Coach Coward did a cut up on him a couple of weeks ago when they were getting ready to play Denver. And we did like a deep dive into it and I watched him. I mean, he's on an island all the time and he just shuts it down. He's super athletic, super strong. He's a fun one to watch. I got to be honest, man. I like watching the ball.
Yeah. Well, that's why I think it's an interesting question because most of us are all going to watch the ball, but there's certain players I find I'm like, oh man, look at that. Another good lead block or kick out block. You know, if you just kind of some guys just catch your eye. As far as
see, now catches
wise.
my
Yeah.
eye, and he touches the ball a lot, but is in Atlanta. Tyler Algier.
Yeah,
Like, I love watching him play football, dude. And I know
yeah.
Bijan, I agree with you. Bijan is magnetic and you watch him, but I think good football teams have role players like glue guys that just, do the dirty work and can come in and do exactly what you need them to do. I would have loved to play with a guy like Algier.
He's a great change of pace, but I would also shout Bijan. His pass blocking is really good too
Dude,
for his
Bijan's an
size.
animal.
It's crazy. He just
Yes.
like unloads on guys. He just like leaves his feet. It's
Yeah,
really
we'd like him to
impressive.
square him up a little more because at times you whiff when you go in for the
Yeah.
kill shot every time when you're pass blocking. Like, I don't really need you to kill him. I just need you to get run over slow. But
Yeah.
he does make for good highlight clips in his pass blocking.
Who's
All right.
the receiver right now that you're like, man, I would give anything to throw to that guy. Like you
Justin
had a good one
Jefferson, dude.
in
Justin
Julio, but
Jefferson to
yeah.
me. And I mean, Jamar Chase is awesome. I love watching Cincinnati's wideouts. I love T. Higgins. Like, they're fun to watch and they make a ton of plays. Jackson Smith and Jigba, awesome. Like, he looks like he'd be a ton of fun to play with. But if you had to give me one, like,
What separates him? Like
I just
like
think
when you're watching him,
his
what do you
length,
notice and just how smooth he is and
so smooth, like a friendly target to throw to, right? I feel like body language is like a really important thing as a quarterback to understand guys' body language. And some guys present like better body language to you of when they're coming out of their breaks, and gives you the trigger to let it go. I love watching, the way he breaks down at the top of routes. Like, his power off the ball, like vertical power off the ball to like stem into routes, I think puts defenders on their toes, instantly. And he makes them feel like he makes corners feel him off the ball, I think, as well as anybody in the league right now. Uh, Catch radius. I mean, like, he's got great hands, great ability to go get the football in the air. I think he'd be awesome. Like, I love throwing skinny posts and like, kind of these timing rhythm posts that were right there in between the numbers and the hash, 18 to 22 yards. He's got like the perfect kind of length to be able to layer that ball over the top of somebody and fit it in there and then, run after catch. I just look at him and like the way I would throw the football, like he's awesome to watch.
Yeah. What about on the defensive side? I've always considered, or the last couple of years, Fred Warner. I call him the Predator. Who do you think is like the alpha linebacker? He's everywhere on the field. With him out for the season, who should get that Predator title?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't think there is one. If I
wow.
look around, in and I don't say that like
Yeah,
disrespectfully,
yeah.
but
Yeah.
I feel like we've been seeing scoring like crazy. Like, I think that's one of
Yeah.
the storylines of this season is that like scoring and offensive football has been off the like off the chain. It's just been high. I feel like every week we're seeing, a bunch of high scoring games. Because I agree with you. I love Fred. I think he's one of the best in the league. It was awful to kind of see him go down, and they had Nick Bosa go down too. Like, what San Francisco is doing, despite all of these guys
He
being
had
out, is wildly
uh
impressive.
the first rounder go out yesterday too. Michael Williams and I think he's out with the knee for the rest of the season.
Dude, Salah's done an
It's
amazing
crazy.
job. Another guy
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
leaves the Jets and gets right back to it.
I
That
know.
that
Yeah.
gets right back to our guys at CBS would always say you lose your football skill when you come to the Jets. You lose your ability to play, to coach, to do any of those things, and then it comes right back when you
Well,
leave.
winning's a culture. It's a habit. I mean, there's no better example of that right now than the Jets. All right. What
Who
about when you played? Like, who would be that? Who was that guy for you that you were like matched up against? Whether that was because they, I don't know, were like a
Kuechly was a
quarterback on the.
problem.
I was
Luke
Who
gonna say
was
Kuechly was
Kuechly's gotta
Kuechly?
be in the
Yeah.
Yeah, Luke
division.
Kuechly
Yeah.
was really good, man. Not only, like, everybody talks about, mentally, like, he would call your plays out and he knew exactly what you were doing. I don't think he gets enough credit for, like, his athleticism
Oh
too,
my
right?
God.
Like, he could
Yeah.
fly, man.
Yeah.
He could fly around. He was physical. He's the
Smart.
antithesis of the
Yeah.
Cincinnati Bengals. Like, he was a great tackler, always in position,
Ironic
knew
because he's a
knew
Cincinnati guy.
I know, Saint X. He's a bomber. Yeah, he was a problem for us. Um,
Former trap draw alum too. He's been on the
Yeah.
trap draw before.
has he? Luke has?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
Yeah.
love that. I love that. I didn't know that. Yeah, Luke was a problem for us.
Anybody that like that just had your number, you were like, God, this guy again? Like,
Dude,
almo
Asante Samuel.
really?
When he was in Philly, he had my number. His ability to break on routes, sit on routes, and he was difficult for me to go against. And then we trade for him,
Yeah.
and he comes to Atlanta, and I'm like, all right, perfect. I'm gonna pick his brain. I'm gonna ask him, what tips, what were the cues? What did you know? Like, what did you study on film? And he was like, nah, man, I was just guessing. And I'm like, oh,
Don't tell me that. Yeah.
It's
Just
got to be
all luck.
crazy to like see his son playing in the league.
oh, dude, it's wild. It's wild. I love Desante. He was an awesome teammate, but he was a problem for me as a corner going against him because he jumped routes. He had really good pattern recognition. Like he just understood which routes went with what, and like you could get him on double moves, and you could get him if you kind of scheme things up. But like if you had a backside skinny post or something, he intercepted me at home in Atlanta one time on a backside skinny post. It was unbelievable. I don't know how he intercepted it, but he was somehow there.
Yeah. All right, TC, I'm gonna get you one here. Best offensive and defensive play callers currently.
Ooh, best offensive play callers. I mean, Kyle's got to be in there. Kyle does a great job. I think Sean McVay is a really good play caller as well. So I'm not going to give one. I'll give three. The other guy who I
Yeah,
love
that's what
what
I'm
he's
looking
doing.
for.
What's that?
That's kind of what I'm looking for. Or somebody under the radar that you feel like people need to look out for at
Dude,
coordinator.
the other guy that I think is doing a really really good job is Josh McDaniels up in New England.
Yeah.
And I think he might be the ultimate better coordinator than head coach.
Yeah.
But I love what they're doing in New England with him, how they're running the football, how they're kind of
Seems
giving
just like
Drake
good,
opportunities to push the ball down the field.
yeah, good
Um,
vibes. Like Thomas Brown's up there. You
yeah,
got,
TB was a
yeah,
teammate of mine at
yeah.
in Atlanta. We got drafted together by the Falcons in 2008, and he's a good dude. But I think he's doing a great job up in New England. And then defensively, like Salah's got to be up there, man. I said this on our show a couple of weeks ago. It might be the best tandem of play callers of any staff, right? Like offensive and defensive. So you have Kyle on the offensive side of the ball and Salah calling the defense. He does an amazing job, uh, of seemingly getting anybody to go out there and play a scheme, and they play with great effort. I think he does a really good job. I've always been partial. I love Lou Anarumo. As I always thought he was really good in Cincinnati and did a lot with not that much,
Yeah.
and I think you're seeing some of that right now in Cincinnati of, maybe just the value that he was, right? Keeping them, they weren't like statistically great defenses, but I always thought they were well schemed and difficult to go against. I think he's doing a pretty good job in Indianapolis this year as well. So I think he's doing a nice job. Mike Macdonald in Seattle, like I can't say enough good things about him,
He's
man.
another Atlanta guy.
He's from
I think he went
Dunwoody
to
too, isn't he?
Centennial. Yeah, yeah. I think he went to Centennial High School.
He is he's impressive, man. And their defense is flying around playing good football. I just my first year out of playing, I was calling games for CBS with Andrew Catalan. We were on the four crew, and we had Baltimore a couple times when he was there. And he was one of the guys when you interviewed him, you were like, oh yeah, like this guy, he is on it, super sharp, really, really, really smart, and like he balances. Neil, like you played, like he balances tough and like meathead with like X's and O's. Like he's
Yeah.
got that balance just right. That like as a player, you're like, man, I would love to play for him. Where it's like it's not all rah rah. It's like we've got scheme to go with it, but there is enough rah rah that like I'll run through the wall for you too. Like he
Yeah.
balances that really well, and I think he's doing a great job in Seattle.
Do
Love it.
we uh do we glaze Shanahan too much? Me, Poosh.
No, I'm listen. He's a really really good awesome play caller, awesome game planner. I love playing for him. I think I think where he's underrated is as a talent evaluator.
Mhm.
Like, I think everybody talks about his scheme, his play calling, and rightfully so. Like, I think he's excellent in that department, and probably if I leaned on one of those 2, I think he's a better game planner than he is play caller. Like, he can scheme things up, and he knows how to attack the defense that he wants to go against, and I don't think that's a knock. Like, he's a very good play caller, but his game plans are excellent. But I always thought his greatest strength was evaluating talent and finding guys that fit what they wanna do.
Yeah.
And he knows exactly how he wants to use the pieces that he has, and therefore it might not take, all pros at every spot, but it might take guys that we don't have to pay at a certain amount or might have deficiencies in other areas, but they fit, what he wants to use them as. And I think that's probably his greatest strength. But I don't listen, man, he's as good of a coach as there is in the NFL. He's
Yeah.
absolutely as good of a coach as there is.
All
You're
right.
gonna
A
have the
couple.
Chiefs fans coming at you for not mentioning Andy Reid
As a play caller,
in your play calling.
doesn't
Yeah.
Nagy call the plays?
I think
Does he
so.
at this
Yeah.
point? Yeah.
I think he
Yeah.
does. I think
Yeah.
he does. So, listen, I love Andy. I love Andy, and the Chiefs fans, they can all relax. I said Andy Reid is the best coach of quarterbacks in the history of the NFL.
How about that?
Think about it,
Love that.
right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
the number of guys he's coached, how different they all were, and how every one of them played their best football under Andy, and all of those offenses looked wildly different, right?
And
From
I
the
appreciate
timing.
that as a coach. I can't stand it when coaches try to fit personnel to their scheme instead of like you got to fit the scheme to who you got at that moment.
100%. And I think nobody does a better job of that than Andy Reid. You know, I think back to, like, I grew up in Philadelphia, so I was a massive Eagles fan growing up and a huge Andy Reid fan. And watching those offenses that he had with Donovan McNabb. Donovan played great, right? And they were constantly in the NFC Championship and knocking on the door
Yeah.
of winning a
Freddie
Super Bowl. Never got
Mitchell.
it done in Philly, but they were close, right? And they were right there. They were incredibly consistent. Then he leaves, he goes to Kansas City. I think Alex Smith played his best football of his career under Andy Reid. And then Patrick, and you talk about even guys like Michael Vick when he was in Philadelphia. I think his best football might have been in Philly,
Yeah.
right? Like, the absolute best that he played probably was in Philadelphia, and he was impressive. You go back to his time at Green Bay, right? And like Brett Favre as a quarterback coach there, and the stories that Brett would tell about Andy and how good he was for him. I just think, I think he's as good as there has ever been of a guy that understands how to get the best out of the guy that he has.
Yeah. All right. I want to get you out of here, Matt, because but I was going to start with this question. How much tape are you grinding these days in prep for the CBS pregame show? Are you watching all 22 still?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
always.
What are
Like,
we
you can't
talking?
watch a TV copy and know what's going on.
No, I mean, like, how much tape are you watching?
I watch a good amount. Probably not as much as I did when I was calling games. The most film I ever watched in my life was when I was calling games,
Yeah.
more than as a player. And it was a really strange adjustment because as a player, I had one defense to get ready for during the week, and like that was it, right? And so it was all, it was all right. Here's first and second down. Here's third down. Here's red zone. Here's 2 minute. It was all broken into categories, and then we watched a lot of film, but like it was one defense. When I was calling games, it was like, okay, we got two defenses. I
Yeah.
got to learn the offenses, right? Like, I didn't. You inherently as a player just know your offense, so you don't have to worry about that. And then I had to watch special teams, which I was like, I don't know shit about special teams. I hadn't been on a special team
It's the
since I
most
was in, like,
important thing.
yeah, I
Teams.
know.
Games,
It's
man.
huge, man. Huge. And I didn't know anything about special teams. So I'm watching special teams, calling like old coordinators that we had, being like, yo, what are you guys doing here? Like,
Yeah.
how do you do this? So I watched a lot as I was calling games. Now I don't watch special teams anymore. I'm back in my honey hole.
Sure.
We could just watch the highlight of special teams, but I watch a lot of offensive football on the all 22. I'll watch a lot of defensive football on the all 22, but it's not as in depth. I think when you're covering the whole league, it's not quite as in depth as when you're calling games. But every week, I mean, I got my iPad here. I'll be on it on the all 22 all the time. I've got my notebook out like
Yeah.
I was playing and have tons of notes. And I just feel like I don't know. I think if you're going to have an opinion on something, and you might have to critique somebody or just talk about what's going on, it just doesn't sit right with me as a player to not be prepared for that, right?
Yeah.
Like I would be pissed if people were having takes or making a comment about me, and you're like, man, that's just I might be wrong, but at least I'll have watched, right? And at
Sure.
least it's got some foundation to it. And so, I take pride in that because I think the players and the coaches deserve that.
Were you dead set on going into TV and media? Like, was that always kind of in the back of your mind, or was it, "Hey, I'm gonna retire and then assess it and see what I wanna do next?"
Yeah, I had no idea. Like, I went to Indy, it didn't work out the way I think everybody thought it would in Indianapolis, and so it was kind of more abrupt than I thought it was going to be,
Mhm,
and really had no idea. Kind of a chance interaction with, some people from CBS, and the next thing I know, my first year, I was just gonna do a little bit to see if I liked it, of maybe an appearance or 2 in studio and maybe, sit in on a couple of games, here or there, and, like, 3 weeks later, they called me and they were like, "Hey, would you like to call games full time?" And I was like, "I guess," like,
Yeah.
"We'll do it live. We'll try it." And, yeah, and really enjoyed it. I had a ton of fun doing the game. So I kinda backdoored my way into it, to be honest with you. It wasn't like I always wanted to do this, but I've enjoyed it. Because a lot of what I loved as a player was the preparation, right? Was getting ready during the week and like breaking down film and watching what people do and trying to understand, how we were going to attack a defense. And I still love doing that, right? Like it's something that I enjoy doing. So I get enough of it. I get the enough
yeah.
of the fix to
What does
enjoy
your
myself. Plus
schedule
I
look
work with great
like?
people.
Like, do you fly up Friday or Saturday for the Sunday show?
I got a good schedule. So I'll fly up
Yeah,
Saturday. I've got
yeah,
3 young boys. So I've got twin
yeah,
boys that are 7 and, a 2-year-old son. So I coach my twin boys' flag football team. So I'll usually go up Saturday whenever we're done, whether it's Saturday afternoon or Saturday evening, and then I fly home Sunday night after we get
okay,
off the air. So I'm gone one night.
yeah, that's
Listen, it's a
great.
pretty good job. I'm very
Yeah.
thankful I have it.
That's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
All right, I would get you out of here. You gotta indulge me with a give me an outrageous play call. I love it when you ex quarterbacks hit me with the we got to have a can or a kill in there. You know what I mean? Like
Alright, give me a
and bonus points.
situation. What are we in? Are we
We're
3rd
in
down, first down?
yeah.
Where are we at?
Let's third and medium. You got a couple options, and I'd love it if you could work in a spider 2Y banana
Alright,
with a
so
back with or
3rd and
without a
2
backside Venus. I don't know.
with
It's up to you.
the I don't know what the Venus is. I wasn't sure when Gruden was going through that, what the Venus was. We never had that. But, alright, Spider 2Y banana. So we'd be like, let's go Dana Bible system right here. Shout out to our guy Dana.
Okay.
We'll go back to Boston College. It'd be green right, flip, Z right. Actually, go strong right, flip, Z right. Let's go Spider 2Y banana. Our pass protection would have been different than Spider 2. We would have been Fox 2. But
Okay.
it was the same thing. It would have been, green right, flip, Z right, Fox 2, Y banana,
Okay.
X
Yeah, because you
Venus.
just hear some of these play calls for NFL play calls, and they're like, I mean, it's like 30 words long with
Yeah,
all
Dana
the
had some long ones. Don't get it
yeah.
twisted. We would get in the gun and he'd be like, gun, trips right, flip, empty, scat, 322, Y stick, lion, alert, triple right, flop, empty, scat, 22, hunt.
So, and the alert is key. That's like a whole separate play.
Yeah, different play. So we would
If
go from
people hear
quick
alert.
game, scat 322, Y stick, lion, which is like day one West Coast offense. Stick in a flat with a go route on the 3-man side, and lion is double slant on the 2-man side. So it's an empty formation. And then we would can or what was gun what did I say? Gun trips right, flip, empty scat, 322, Y stick line, alert. So it was alert. I can't remember unless I rip it off
Yeah, yeah.
all in one. But it was alert at BC. So if we alerted it, everybody flipped, and then we would go basically like hunt. It was like kind of like smash, and then a little hunt route that went down the middle. It was a little shoot route that we would attack cover 2 in
Yeah.
if we got cover 2.
God, I love it.
Are
Yeah.
you, like, what's your strategy as far as flag football? Like, I got,
Oh,
Freddie, my older one's
I'm
8.
open. I'm open to
I
any
got an
suggestions
8-year-old and
that
a
you may have.
5-year-old. Do you have diagrams, or are you just telling them, "Hey, this is what you're gonna do, this is what you're gonna do"? Because it's really interesting to see how different coaches go about it. It's fascinating.
Dude, it's wild. It
Yeah.
really is wild. I to answer your question, I'm not a diagram guy.
Okay.
right? Like I've seen the guys out there with the full playbook every
Yeah.
time they're opening it up to a new
It's
page
a
or
bit
whatever.
much. Yeah.
But I get us in. I've got a way for everybody on the offense to touch the ball, right? But
That's
we all line
first
up in the
thing.
same spot
Yeah.
every
That's
time.
awesome.
So we got be right or be left. So I've got
Yeah.
one guy that goes right or left.
Okay.
So it'll be like be right, be motion, C dive right, or be right, be motion, be jet sweep left. Or, if we got the guys inside, it'll be like be right, be motion, Johnny jet sweep right, or whatever. Or be right, be motion, be jet sweep left, reverse to Jennings. That's
Yeah.
that's sort of how I set it up. And the kids know where to do it, and we work on it a little bit. But I don't know. It sort of bothers me when you see the guys out there with the whole
Yeah.
playbook flipping through it every play, and you're like, "Come on, like what are we doing?"
Well, and like first things first, like every kid should touch the ball every game, I think, on the
It's
team.
and that part's hard in our league. In our league, you have to have. So we is yours. How many kids are on the field?
There are 5 on the
So we've
field.
got 8,
Oh, wow. Okay.
which is a lot.
So this
And I
isn't
kind of
I-9 because we're I-9 is like the name, the kind of the league, and they're nationwide. Yeah, so it's
yeah.
5 on 5, and then I think if you get within 5 or 10 yards of midfield, you have to throw the ball to get across.
Yeah, we've got none of this, right? Like,
Okay.
so we're 8 on 8. My guys play at NYO, so over at Chastain
Okay.
Park.
Yeah.
And NYO does a great job. But it's 8 on 8, and you got 12 kids on the team. And in our leagues, you have to have 6 that are starters on defense and 6 that are starters on offense. And then you can rotate 2.
Uh-huh.
So it becomes difficult because not every kid does get a touch. And like
There's some crowd
you feel
control.
bad. I'm
Yeah.
sitting there and I'm like, I don't know you got to play D, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to go pull some flags, but try and pump them up. Like that's the most important position we have out there. And the kids do a great job with it. But yeah, 8 kids on the field to me seems like a lot. Like there's not a lot of space,
Yeah.
and it gets
See
hard
see, that's the thing. Ours is there's a ton of space, and there's a lot of,
which I think is good, right? You can get your
yeah.
plays started.
Yeah, get guys in space and get guys making
That's all
plays
Kyle
in the open
Shanahan
field.
talks about, man.
Yeah.
All the run game is getting guys in space, right?
Level
Creating space
concepts.
for the runner.
Yeah.
Well, my dad took my older one, Freddie, up to see Dana up in Ohio, and he ran him through like a whole 2-day thing, and I'm like, "Dad, this is outrageous!" Like Fred, like
He
See
loved
Freddie,
it
that?
though.
So
yeah,
Loved it.
for full context, I think we need to let people know who
yeah,
Dana Bible is. Dana Bible is a
yeah,
longtime football coach. He spent some time in the NFL, a lot of time in college, was my offensive coordinator at Boston College for 4 years. And really, honestly, of all the people that I came across in my time, probably had the biggest impact on me, of anyone that I played for, just because it was the first. And like I learned how to learn an offensive system from Dana. And he spent so much time with me individually, kind of getting me up to speed. Because, like I mentioned, I was a triple option quarterback coming out of high school. So I had zero idea about like pass protection and like route concept. I had no idea. And he kind of held my hand through all of that at BC. And really, he used to talk about having this mental checklist when you broke the huddle of like it's protection first, then it's shell, then it's concept. And like it carried me through my
Yeah.
entire time in the NFL. But yeah, so your son went to the right guy though, because Dana is
oh,
he's
he was
awesome.
so good with him. My dad sent me some videos, and he's like, "Freddie's in heaven. This is awesome."
I'll bet he was positive. He was
oh yeah,
upbeat.
He was like, he calls my dad Shu. He's like, Shu, you got to tell me if I'm getting too deep with these kids. But he was the concept flicking boogers,
Yeah,
talking about throwing the
flick
football.
boogers off the fingers. He said that still in college. Yeah.
Yeah. He was, and so Freddie and our cousin's son Diggy, yeah, they loved it. So he's still at it. And now Dana's, I mean, he's kind of like just kind of like your QB whisper consultant now. I think he's does some stuff with Ohio State. He was big Chip Kelly kind of
Yeah.
mentor. I think did a lot with Sam when he was with the Niners, and I think that's
So
why he was working with Ohio State.
when I was at BC, they used to have a massive football camp at Boston College during the summer, and Chip was the head coach at UNH. And Chip's quarterback was Ryan Day, and Ryan Day was our GA at Boston College for my first 2 years, and then my 5th year, he was our wide receiver coach. And so that little web of like those guys, I'm sure Dana still brings Ryan back to help out, because that's who Ryan learned football from, right? Is Chip and Dana Bible. That's really kind of the foundation of who he is. And it's been amazing. No matter how you feel about Ryan Day, right? He can be a very, very polarizing figure. I love him because, I've known him forever, but,
well, whether you like, you think he's the guy for Ohio State, I guess, winning the national championship would say yes. He seems like a genuinely decent human.
He's a good dude.
When you look across how college is becoming big business, I don't think you can say that about all these coaches anymore.
Yeah,
so
he just
that's my
annoyed,
personal opinion.
and if I see him, I tell him the same thing. He always looks annoyed when he has to like answer questions, but like when you know him, he's awesome. Like he's fun to be around, great personality, like easygoing, and just, I mean, he's one of those guys. Like if you were ever around him as a young coach, there are certain guys like this that like even at 18 or 19, you're like, oh, this guy, he's going to be head coach. I don't know where it's going to be, but like this guy, he's going to be a head coach. The way he was prepared for like meetings and stuff like that, you knew it from a young age. He was going to be dialed in, and man, he's done a hell of a job.
Yeah.
Do you ever want to coach?
No,
Are you too much of a grind and you're
I mean, those guys give up. I mean, they give up a lot of their life to be able to the amount of time that it takes. And I feel like in another life, maybe, if I had not played, maybe I would have been willing to kind of put that into it. But I feel like I did my thing, and kind of exhausted every ounce of effort that I had into doing that. And I don't have the desire to get back into that.
Yeah. All right. Well, Matt, thank you again. Really appreciate it. Fun chopping it up with you.
Of course, guys.
Yeah. What, you up in New York this week?
Up in New York. We're back in the studio this week. Yeah, I got to get started on, I think we only have 5 games, 4 in the 1 o'clock window and 1 in the 4 o'clock window. So light week on CBS, but it'll be a good week.
Well,
what's the game you're most looking forward to over the next,
over the next couple of weeks?
Yeah.
We're going to be out in Denver, Kansas City, which I think will be good. Kansas City is going to be coming off the bye and sitting at 5-4 and going to be trailing either Denver or LA at that point in a couple of weeks. So that one will have some juice to it. Yeah, I mean, that's it. I can't get, it's one game at a time, Tron. It's 1 week at a time, right?
What did Cowher say yesterday?
Down the schedule.
It's November's navigation month.
Oh yeah, Coach Cowher has something for every month. He says September's fact-finding month about your team. You're finding out what you got. October is problem-solving month, right? You found out what you have. Now you got to solve those problems. November is about navigating the murky waters of the middle of the season and starting to separate yourself.
I could tell that tickled you on the broadcast yesterday. You were like, Coach, what is it this month?
Yeah, when he said it in the production meeting, I was like, oh, that's got to come out. It's got to come out. What's funny is he's like joking about it, but he's actually right. Like he's like spot on all of this stuff. And you see it, like, teams navigating this spot. We saw the Colts go down, right? And Pittsburgh, starting to feel Buffalo or Baltimore coming, right? And they know they got to get a win. You got to navigate that space to get yourself in position to be successful. So, I mean, he's spot on. Coach got a lot of wisdom to him, man.
Yeah. Good stuff. All right. Well, we'll be watching. Hope maybe we'll get you in for another check-in sometime later this season, but thanks for your time.
Anytime, boys. Appreciate you.